And we're back.
To the next Escape podcast with your host, Kiara.
And Calvin with special guest.
David. I tried to do the voice.
That was
that was a good voice. That was a good voice.
Yeah.
I liked it. Yeah.
David from Clever Escape, for those of you who don't know.
There you go. And Clever is located in Visalia, California. If you think it's Tulare, well, you'd be wrong.
Yeah.
And we're in downtown Visalia, right on Main Street. Awesome location.
Yeah, go to Crawdaddy's and play an escape room.
Yep. Tons of restaurants, tons of stores, tons of shopping.
Honestly, I think that
and an escape room.
Yours is probably one of the better locations I've seen.
I'd say the best location.
Almost ever.
Definitely around here.
You definitely don't have to feel like you're going somewhere weird, like most escape rooms. Or I'm in the back parking lot.
Is this it? Yeah.
Yep. Where am I? Is this where I'm supposed to?
They're usually like, because it's cheap rent, they're usually in some kind of industrial park or something, or an office building like around the corner or whatever.
Not on Main Street.
In a weird mall that has an underground garage.
That's right.
That's called.
That was actually a pretty good location. It's just that garage thing when we first got there. Oh my gosh, that was crazy.
It just gives a little bit of friction.
Are you really playing?
Is this thing gonna cave in or what?
You're a little afraid of the location.
Yeah, if you don't have to walk outside to go around the corner to use the restroom, is it really?
That's a good location. Yeah, is it really a scooter? Oh, I love it.
All right, and we are going to be talking about Dracula's Demise, the new escape room at Clever.
Yeah, there's a lot of new escape rooms around.
Yeah.
We got your guys' Cerebral, of course.
Yeah.
And then Dracula's Demise.
Real Escape.
Real Escape has the Framed Detective. Yeah, they have a little bit of a murder mystery type twist to theirs. Pretty cool. And then there's Sub-Zero at Method of Escape.
Yeah.
That kind of
it's fairly new. Yeah.
I didn't really hear anything about that. It just kind of was out there. I had to look at the website to find out about that.
Right. Yeah, I feel the same way. I didn't know people that came into our place were the ones that told us. And we're like, really? And then I looked up and I'm like, oh, I guess they do have a new room coming.
Yeah.
So we're actually get to play that. I think we have a schedule for next month.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Well, invite them to join Severe. I think the owner is on Severe. I don't really know if he engages or not.
Who's that?
I'd have to look it up.
That's one of the owners I have not met. Actually, the only one in Fresno I have not met. I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I know the one from Unlock. Obviously, I know you guys. Unlock. Escape has several owners. I only met one of them though.
Yeah. Mario.
And I've met Puzzle Effects. Yeah, I can't remember his name, but he seemed like a really nice guy too.
Yeah.
But get him on the page, get him posting, tell him about Sub-Zero on Severe. That's what it's there for.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys about it too.
Yeah. I'm down for that. But
all right, we're here for Dracula.
We're here for Dracula. All right.
Dracula.
I'm deflecting. I don't really want to talk about. No, I do want to talk about it. So Dracula's Demise. I have to say, I really, really stretched myself on this game. I'm super proud of the build because it made me definitely. This was one. Okay, so how I come up with things is I'll come up with a puzzle idea and I tell my wife, and then she puts it in her phone, and then so she collects all my random thoughts, right? Yeah. And then when we go to build a new room, she pulls them all out. And then we try to pick a theme and see which ones can kind of fit which themes. And, not every puzzle is weighted not every puzzle is equal in my opinion. So there's certain puzzles I'm like, we got to have this one. We got to have this one. And some I'm like, that's okay, whatever. Mm-hmm. So we kind of try to see which one fits the best. And this one came down to, it actually wasn't Dracula at first. It was going to be like a Ghostbuster themed one. And I still want to do a Ghostbuster themed one. For sure. Actually, the idea came from a video game called Phasmophobia. I don't know if you guys have played it.
Oh, we love it.
Yep, we play it
all
the time.
Yes. So Phasmophobia, that where you have to basically figure out, the object of that game would have been you figure out what kind of, basically same idea. You figure out what kind of spirit you're working with and how to...
Entity is in the room.
Yeah, entity. Is that the words they use? Okay. Well, and then you got to figure out how to get rid of them. And I had some great ideas for that, by the way. And I still want to do it. In fact, my manager Petra and her husband Richard, they both work for me, and they are they really want me to build that one. They're like, we want to be part of it. We want to come up with some stuff. So they might be helping with that one when the time comes, whenever that is. But
well, you have an basement.
I have an unused basement,
right?
That was at our old place.
That was okay.
Yeah, that would have been really cool.
Right. I was just thinking because you're telling us how somebody was dead down there. You found him dead, right? Not your fingerprints, not with your fingerprints.
No. Yeah, definitely not. Wasn't me, I promise. I just know the guy and hate him.
Nice. Perfect.
So I'm just kidding. No, I really. So yeah, it came down to like a phasmophobia kind of Ghostbuster themed kind of get rid of, and I could talk all day about that. Or we were gonna do possibly like a candy shop themed, make it more kid friendly.
Mm-hmm.
I think that one would be really cool to do too. And or
there's not that many like family, like specifically family focused rooms. There's not
right.
Yeah.
If any.
And that's always tricky too, because I'm always scared I'm going to build a game that's too easy. And if you build a game that's too easy, sure, kids and families and first timers, great. But you get people that have done it a million times, done a million escape rooms, and it's too easy, and they get out in 22 minutes, which I've done several times.
Yeah.
And it sucks when you pay,
it's hard because
$30-some.
There's so many different people interested in escape rooms, and specifically enthusiasts assume that every room that is made for them because they're like, this is my hobby.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like, that's just not the case. Like, it's hard to figure out that balance.
Yeah. But so that was one of the ideas. But we ultimately decided on Dracula because we hadn't seen a theme like that around here. And then a lot of the puzzles that I had ideas for kind of fit that theme. And so after we picked the theme, I just started brainstorming more stuff. And I just came up with so many cool ideas. And you guys played it. So you guys got to see
we know firsthand.
It was like
how epic it was. Yeah.
Thank you.
It was an awesome room. But what was the deciding factor between the Ghost Hunter versus Dracula? Like I know that you said that there's no classical monster rooms, like there is none in town.
There's no Frankenstein room, or
if you go into the weeds, a little bit of Clancy's Lodge is a little bit that, but you have to go really.
That's true.
So I wouldn't really count that. Yours is much more like emboldened in your face. This is what the room is, right?
Yes.
It's very upfront about what that is. But like, what was the deciding factor?
I think it was more of all the list of puzzles we were going through. They fit that one a little bit better than they fit that theme better than they fit the Ghostbuster theme a bit. More of them fit there, so it was a little bit more organic to make it flow. And then after we picked a theme, like just ideas started just going crazy, and I was like, okay, this is the one for now.
And then I think I know the answer to this question, but so what was like the most like challenging part of making?
Oh gosh. Well, let me tell you this. So, and you guys probably have the same thing when you guys build a room, right? So what happens is I get all these ideas and I get like I'm like, oh man, it would be so cool if I could make this happen and this happen and this happen and this happen. And then you go into research and it's like, oh, that's not as easy as it looks. It's definitely not worth the money if you can make it happen, or sometimes it's just not able to make happen, right? That happened a lot in Atlantis, by the way. I had all these crazy, awesome ideas, and it was just like, that would be cool, but it's not going to work. And that would be cool, but it's just going to cost too much money. And it's not worth the effect, And
it's an unsung, like, disheartening thing that we go through all the time. It was like we have the scope of all these crazy grand puzzles and cool set pieces that we want to add in, and then as we're in the weeds building it out, it's like, okay, we have to cut that. Okay, we have to streamline that. Okay, we can use this for that puzzle instead. And it's not exactly how we designed it from the get-go, but I mean, we get to the finish line. we get a good room at the end of it, but it's almost never the exact room that you set out to begin with, at least in my experience.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
With Dracula, almost everything, these crazy ideas that I had, almost everything was doable. And I hardly had to change anything from the original plan. And with everything else, I mean, every other room I built, it's been just like you said, nowhere near what you originally planned. This was almost identical to what I had originally in my brain. I took out maybe one or two small things, but they weren't like all the big things that I thought could happen, that I wanted to happen, were doable. And what's crazy is I didn't know how to make a lot of it happen, obviously, right? Because I'm like just dreaming like, oh, it'd be cool if this could happen. I don't know how to do that. But I would, whenever, I would go to build it or try to make it happen, I would reach out and get help from just different people. Facebook, there's different groups of owners and prop builders on. Yeah, the owners groups, and there's a prop building group with technology and stuff. And I would go on there and ask people for like questions like, hey, I'm trying to make it do this. What do you suggest? Blah, blah, blah. And then they'd be like, hey, they'd send me a link to Amazon. Buy one of these. These are really easy to program, blah, blah, blah. It makes it do this. And then I would like, okay. And then I try it out and it would work. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's actually working. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's super cool. There was one puzzle that I was just a little bit beyond me. And I didn't think I would get, like, again, it was like, oh my gosh, I think this would be so cool. I've never seen anything like this before. And I can tell you, well, spoiler alert.
Yeah, this is going to be a spoiler-filled app. I don't
try not to spoil too much. Yeah. You guys played it, though. It's the air puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And never seen any, have you guys seen anything like that?
No, definitely
No. And I was like, dude, it was so cool if we could make this work. And but I had no idea how to make it work. And so I reached out. My friend Troy, his brother-in-law is an engineer, and an electrical engineer actually. So I think. But anyway, he some kind of engineering.
Yeah.
He builds stuff like this all the time. So he seriously 3D printed a controller to make that puzzle. And then he totally programmed it for me and everything. And which is super cool. So props to him. I don't honestly, that's the only thing he did for me, but it was amazing. And he was super amazing with it. So it came out fantastic. Honestly, I don't even know his name, which is sad. But
I mean, I think Troy showed me the inside of that puzzle, and it's pretty crazy what you guys have going on. And he was showing me how like there's fail safes, and you could readapt it, you can change it if you ever want to. You could how easy it would be to. And I was blown away because that a lot of work, a lot of planning to get it where it is.
Yes, and even after you guys played it, we tweaked it a bit, so it's even better now. I mean, it does the same thing, but it's more clear, I guess. That makes sense. So yeah, pretty cool. But yeah, this just things like that, all kinds of crazy ideas that somehow I was able to either figure out myself through some research or get help from people and then figure it out, or like that one, just hire somebody to do it, and it actually got it to work, which just blows my mind. So
I think that's just like a testament to you as like an owner and a room builder. Like you've gotten so many underneath your belt now that you have a pretty good idea of what you're capable of and what you're not. And you know when you hit those walls, you know how to go around them. You know how to make them unsurmountable walls, but something that you can easily scale or mitigate at least.
And something that I've learned, well, as an owner, but also just as a person, is exactly what you're saying, but also it's okay to ask for help on stuff like that. And because my first two rooms were downside up and platform C4, and I got zero help on for pretty much for any of that stuff. So actually that's not 100% true, but it was very, very, very minimal. Like I pretty much did 95% of the build.
The bulk of the build, yeah.
And they're not bad games. They're really fun and great puzzles, and the design of the game itself is great. But there's definitely some areas, like aesthetically especially, where it could have been better if I would have had somebody else kind of come in that has that kind of expertise.
Step up for that. Yeah,
exactly. And those were my first rooms, and I didn't have I was learning so much at the time, woodworking and coding and just wiring and all kinds of different things, how things work, right? And how you make them work. Right. And so I didn't know hardly anything. I knew a little bit of programming from college, but it wasn't the same, like, not even the same language, totally different. The logic's still there. It's just, different formatting, different things. Plus we never, Plus we never implemented any wiring with it. So it was all just, basic coding on a computer, and the computer does something, not an external thing. Does something,
hardware piece. Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
It's a bit of a gap between going all through the computer interface to actually transferring that to a real life prop outside in the real world, right?
Right. And I'm still not an expert. I wouldn't say I'm an expert really at anything, to be honest. I do things okay, but anything that requires obviously art, I'm out. I'm like, somebody else can do that because I'll give you my ideas, but I just can't make it work because which is really sad because it runs in my family. I have a lot of professional artists in my family. My mom is an incredible artist. I have a sister that's a professional artist. I got a painting, you can't see it, but I have one of her paintings on my wall, like big right here, that I'm staring at, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. It's crazy. And then my sister teaches art, so she's incredible at it too. So, but my other sister,
You just
and it skipped me.
Yeah.
It just skipped me. My kids draw better than I do, and they're 10 and 7 years old.
I would argue
I'm not exaggerating.
Escape rooms themselves is a form of art. Like
Yeah, I would say so.
I'm gonna argue that. So I mean, because that's how I go to sleep at night, is knowing like, oh yeah,
Sure.
I'm an artist, I make games,
They're basically
Well, in that case,
art exhibitions.
Yeah, in that case,
Interactable art.
you're at least a creator. You're
Yeah.
type.
Yeah.
in that case, my rooms are so all over the place. You could call me Picasso.
Ooh,
But
nice.
Picasso was. I'm just kidding.
I think we're more of a Salvador Dali kind of situation.
Yeah, a lot of misplaced things in my room. That's for sure. What is this? What is it? No, I'm just kidding. No. But yeah, that's pretty much how I design things. I come up with the list. My wife writes it down. We decide on the theme, and this one just happened. Almost everything worked out. I didn't have to change much. As I was building the room, I realized I had about 17 or 18 puzzles, and I typically have like 10 or 11. I think Atlantis has 11.
Mhm.
And I was thinking dude, these are all so good. There's very few of these that I want to take out. And so that's when I messaged you and I was like, hey, what would you think if I made this a 90-minute room? And you're like, absolutely not. Don't do it. Cut it down.
I read it. I was like,
dang.
90?
And then I asked people on Facebook, and they were the owners, and a lot of them were in support of it. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know what to do. Like, Calvin's a business guy. He knows what he's talking about for sure. And then these people are saying some of them are saying I should go for it. Some of them saying I shouldn't go for it. The other owners on, all over the country. And anyway.
I mean, I will say for our 75-minute room, there are issues that we're already uncovering with scheduling and time sessions, as well as when business events come out. Like business teams, they're asking oh, tell me about your rooms. And now we have to say, oh, well, all of our rooms are 60 minutes, except one. Oh, also, all of our rooms are $30, except one.
Except for
And
one.
all of our rooms can be played by people ages 12 and up, except for one. And it's
Well, if it's a business, they won't care.
well, as long as they don't employ child labor. But you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised with the clients that Next Gen gets. No, I'm just.
You know what? Your room, I could see it wasn't. It wasn't that scary. If I was 12 years old and I went in that room, I would not have freaked out or anything like that.
Yeah, we want to make it scarier in the future.
I'm not saying you need to change it. I'm just saying if you have to make exceptions.
There are elements for sure. We do.
Yeah.
We do
Oh,
make
okay.
Exceptions.
Oh,
there
yeah,
are
no.
more elements that we want, but we do allow for exceptions. Absolutely.
Yeah. So after talking to you, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to just test it out. See, believe it or not, I took out 4 puzzles, and some of them were
from the design, or had you already built them out? Were they implemented, or were
No, I hadn't made. No, I don't think I had made any of them.
Got it. Okay, so at least there wasn't that effort wasted.
I was in the process of making one of them, but I was maybe halfway through, maybe.
Got it.
Okay.
If that. It wasn't, and it wasn't a huge programming and wiring thing. It was a very basic puzzle. It was a Gen 1 type puzzle, which means it had no technology or anything. It's just a puzzle, cheaply made.
Just
Anyway,
a puzzle to add more time, right? To buff it out a little bit.
well, I mean, it was a good puzzle. It would have been fun. It was an interactive puzzle, something you have to interact with. And then the other three were more. They were okay puzzles. They just were not like super crucial to the game. You know what I mean? Like the air puzzle, we got that to work. I was like, that has to be in it, 100%.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Or the wow, I don't want to give anything away, but there was the portraits. Remember the portraits?
Yeah.
With the names, I was like, that has to be in the game because that puzzle's amazing. that's my favorite puzzle in the whole room.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
like it.
but
Cool.
so I kind of like trimmed the fat a bit. And don't feel bad, by the way. I have no regrets about it because the game is hard enough, and honestly, we could still make it a 90-minute game.
Yeah.
People are struggling on it, so
Is it a 75 right now?
we have it at 80. That's what we
Okay.
decided on.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we have it at 80 minutes. Even with those puzzles out, people are barely making it out in 80.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't think it was it's hard. I like to tell people keep asking me, like, is it the easy room? Is it a hard room? What is it? And I'm like,
It's a room.
I never know.
It's a game.
It's a
you play
game.
it, You'll have fun. Maybe you won't get out, but who knows? Like, I mean, people were asking us about Cerebral, and it's hard to tell. We have challenges in there. We have difficult puzzles, but
Yeah.
I mean, there's also some easy ones in there too to get you going, and some freebies along the way. But just knowing how difficult it is going to be from the get go is kind of difficult. But like for you now, like what do you kind of you said that it's 80 minutes long now. Like, what's your success rate? I think that's a pretty good indicator of like what's your intentional success rate, right?
When I run the game, it's 100%. They always get out.
Oh, nice.
Well, I take that back. There was one team that did not in our testing, but that was because it was testing and there were elements. Oh no, they did make it out. I take that back. They did make it out, but barely. But there were elements that I changed after that team played to kind of make better connections because they gave me some great feedback. They're like, how are we supposed to know to do this? And I'm like, well, that's a good point. Like, and so I added a clue that's organic in the game to kind of clue you to do what you're supposed to do without totally giving it away, hopefully. But that's a lot of those things seem to work a little bit better after that group. And it was after you guys played too, because you guys played the hard version. I added some stuff to kind of make it smoother, like of what to know, what to do next. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, no,
you guys.
I think that pacing would have been helpful. Not pacing, but like kind of like pointing, like having a little bit more pointers. I could see that, but we were able to get through it. But I will say, like, we had like a team just of escape room enthusiasts, and it's really hard to. What?
Your team?
My team? Yeah.
I think you two were the enthusiasts.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
The other three, I don't think they had ever played a game before. Had they?
Oh, they had, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Jason's
Okay.
employed.
We hadn't played all together though. That was the first time we were all playing together. So it was not an unusual crowd for sure.
Yeah. I think Andrew.
Okay, I gotcha.
Andrew's played a lot.
Well, you guys did amazing, by the way. That was like how the game's supposed to go. The way you played it was how it's supposed to go.
Yeah, just get a Kiara.
Yeah, just get a Kiara on your team, and then
It'll be
Before
fine.
you go play.
You guys were just like what's the word I'm looking for? Intuitively figuring out what to do.
Yeah.
And after you guys played, I was like, oh yeah, this totally makes sense. But then we had another team play, and they were just not connecting things at all. And my employees, there was a couple things they were just not connecting. And I get that because sometimes in my brain it makes sense to do something, but to somebody else, it's totally off the wall to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yep.
Like the air puzzle. You guys totally figured that out on your
I
own?
was just like, I'm gonna put if this looks like it's the hole for my hand, I'm just gonna try it.
Yeah.
Oh hey, is there a hole over there? Put your
No other team. Yeah, put them at the same time. No other team has done that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So it's not something that organically. So we had to add something in the game to kind of hint that that's what you're supposed to do.
I always love when like players just kind of solve the game exactly how you intended it. It's
Yes.
just such a good feeling of like, it's like you were in my head while I was making the puzzle.
Yes.
When it has that click moment, the aha moment of you understand.
Yeah,
Thank
you get me.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Yes.
Have fun. That's all I ever wanted. Have fun.
And it's so painful when they just aren't getting it. You know what I mean? And you're just like, oh my gosh, I just gave you like 5 hints on the same thing. How are you not understand? I'm literally telling you the answer and you still can't get it. I don't know what else to do. This is so frustrating.
And it's also hard because since you're the one who made it, there's like a passion there too. So if they don't figure it out, you're like a little insecure of like, is this not a good puzzle? So.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I totally get that too, all the time. The first few teams that came in, I wouldn't say few, I'd say the first like 15 or 20 teams that came in to do the room. I was like so disheartened. There you go. Because like I wasn't getting the reactions I was hoping for. Like I spent so much time and so much energy and effort into making something like I think is absolutely crazy and incredible. And then people come in, I'm like, what'd you think? What was your favorite puzzle? They're like, it was good. And I'm like, it was good?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We made like a free like Escape game for people to check out, and like one of the feedbacks was like, "There's too many words," and I'm like, "What?"
That's probably mine.
It is yours. I know it's yours. You're the only one to complain that there's too many words.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I was just not in the mood to read that much.
Yeah.
And to be fair,
while you were on the road to play a next-gen escape
were
game,
you driving?
yeah, we were on the road, and
were you driving? Is that why you were like, I don't want to read? Like,
and no, no, I wasn't driving. That's hilarious. I wish I was driving because I'd rather drive than read. I would have rather listened to it than.
Thanks, David.
Yeah.
Hitting me right in the feels. Right in the feels.
No, it was. But I played one of your other escapes and I loved it because I was in the mood to read. You know what I mean?
Mm.
When I played this one, I was like, man, this is too much reading. I can't do this right now. Plus,
That's funny.
I was getting car sick too.
A fraction of the words.
It does. Than the one I played. But the thing is, like, I was in the car, I'm looking down, reading, and it's just like it's making me sick, and I'm like
moving around while you're reading.
So I'm trying to read up here so I can kind of see the road and not get sick. And anyway, so back to Dracula's Demise.
Demise.
I'm happy that it's 80 minutes. I'm glad. Don't feel bad. It was actually ended up being great because this is perfect. And we kind of have the same things where people want to book out multiple rooms for events, and we have to tell them like this one is 80 minutes, but we charge them a flat fee for all of them. If they're going to book out all 3, I'm like, that's fine. You can just pay the same price. It's fine. But we tell them like this one's 80 minutes. When you get there, we're going to start this one first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then by the time the third team goes, which your case might even be the fourth team because you have 4 rooms. By the time the third team goes, that room's already 10 minutes in, and so
it kind of evens them out.
The time difference.
Yeah.
Right. Plus, don't tell anybody this, but when that happens, I'm like,
David,
give
you
them
are
more.
being recorded. You are, just to let you know, you are being recorded.
Like, dang it. No, we're like, give them like more direct clues so they get out early. That way they kind of all finish at the same time. So,
Yep.
I mean, I don't feel that bad because we charge them the same amount. So, as the other room. So,
well, I mean, it's not like you'd be, I think, necessarily like spoon feeding them, but making sure that they're on like the right track, I think is good because you want them all to leave having the good time. It would suck if out of 3 rooms, 2 of them had a blast and they got out in time, and then one of them was like, we didn't get out.
That happens all the time. That happens all the time with us.
A lot of people's fun is tied to whether or not they won. And so
for sure.
They're not having fun and it's like, come on, it's a game.
Yeah.
Game. Please just
Yeah, and I get that too, because when I don't make it out, I get pissed. But I'm more mad at myself. Although sometimes it is just a bad room and the bad puzzle design. But most of the time it's me. I just get pigeonholed on one thing and I'm mad at the moment. And then, an hour later, I'm like, I wasn't on my game or whatever. So
Too hot on the case.
Too hot. Yeah, too hot on the case.
That must be it.
We have about 6 minutes remaining before Zoom is going to kick us off. So what else about Dracula's Demise is there to talk about? What like burning things do you want to share with their audience?
It's definitely different, not only in time, but the puzzles are things that, for the most part, I've never seen before. I incorporated like a puzzle where it's a sound puzzle, not just like you have to listen to something, but you have to create the sound and listen to it. That's my favorite puzzle in the whole game. Kind of like Mad Gab, I guess. You played that game before? Yep. A little hint for those of you coming.
I've gotten that game from you, actually.
Really?
Yeah, we picked it up. I don't think it's on. I think it's at the shop.
That's funny.
Your copy of Mad Gab.
That's awesome. So like I've been wanting to make a puzzle like that, and I finally got it to work organically, and it fits in the theme. It's really cool. Well, you guys saw it. It's pretty awesome. I mean, there's lasers in the game. There's secret passages that open up. There's
dead bodies.
Yeah. You guys have those too.
Yeah.
Right?
I think there's definitely like something for all different kinds of thinkers. Like if you're musically inclined, you're going to have a really good time. If you're someone who likes those word kind of puzzles.
There's a logic puzzle.
It's one of the hardest logic puzzles I've ever seen, but I think you've changed it a little.
I did. That's another one I made a lot easier.
Oh man.
I know.
We did it on hard mode.
You can
we get that fat
the
W.
easy version then.
Yeah.
I know.
I think logic puzzles are kind of the hardest for the average person to.
It is, and that's why
those are one of my favorite ones to include, though, because it's a pure just look at it and just think. Think really hard. And if you can't think of the answer, keep thinking. Like, I don't know, there's like not much else to it.
I think the best.
I love logic puzzles, but even the hardest ones are too easy for me. I'm like,
You're just too logical, David. You're just too logical, I guess.
Well, I mean, like I said, I was a math major, so like that's just how my brain works, you know.
I think like a good tip for a logic puzzle is literally just try something.
Yep, I was gonna say that trial and error.
Yeah,
trial and error.
Many people get so caught up on getting the right answer the first time around, where it's just it makes it really difficult. So
you try something, you're like, oh, it's one of these two possibilities. Well, try one. If it doesn't work, try the other one. Boom.
I mean,
right? This path doesn't work. Take this path.
Yeah. That's kind of similar to like the puzzle at the end of Clancy's Lodge, and that one can be 30 minutes or not 30 minutes, but
it can be a 20-minute puzzle if people take a long time.
Yeah, if you don't guess and check a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we try to make this a little bit more friendly, like to the average. We get, I don't know about you guys, but especially since COVID happened and we reopened, it's been like almost all new players. I'd say 85% of the people that come in never played an escape room before.
I think while COVID was happening, people were watching more TV shows that had more escape room stuff. There was more movies coming out. There's a lot more awareness of it. And what's the first thing you want to do when the shutdown ends but to go out and do something fun that you've only been hearing of for the last year?
Right?
It's been, I mean, since we've reopened, it's just been, we've been booked.
Same thing, a lot of new people?
New people.
We always ask them.
Yeah.
I have so many questions for you guys. But we don't have time. It's okay.
Well, another time. We can make time another time.
Next episode, whatever.
Yeah, next step. Let's just keep it going.
I seriously could talk all day, but so Dracula's done. Oh, what I wanted to say was another cool thing that I've never seen before is you get objects before you go in the room.
Oh yeah, I love that. It definitely plays into like the role playing aspect of you get into your character a little bit.
Yes, you get a cross. Because the whole point is you're going into Dracula's castle to kill him during the day while he's asleep because he's been terrorizing the local villages. So you go in during the day, but with you, you're not just going to go empty-handed. You bring a stake to stab him with, a cross for protection, and a Bible. So yeah, it's kind of cool. We give you those things before you go in.
Going in.
It's definitely cool.
I like that.
But a lot of cool different like things that, again, I just try to be different, do things I've never seen before. I think there's one puzzle that I've seen before, but other than that, I think they're pretty much all different. Like things I've never personally seen. I don't know. But then again, I always come up with new ideas, and after I build them and design them, I go to another escape room, and they have the same exact thing or something very, very similar. I'm like, dang it, I thought it was so original.
I played your room, and there's one puzzle that I'm like, this feels King's Keep. In fact, it's the exact same puzzle from King's Keep. I haven't said anything. Not the exactly. Actually, yours.
Is it the
Simon Says?
The knocking one.
See, when I played your King's Keep, you didn't have that.
No, we definitely.
By the way.
No, yours. I mean, yours was ours, but
I promise you did. I would have definitely remembered that.
Oh, the knock on the casket.
It's the middle casket. We've only ever had 3 caskets. It's been the same. Anyway, this is ending
it's okay.
in 1 minute. We're gonna end on that note, which is a great note to end on, I guess. But we will play King's Keep again, and you can come back and check it out, and we'll see. And I don't know. But anyway. Other than that,
well, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Come play King's Keep. Come play Cerebral. Go play the new game at Real Escape Frame Detective.
Play Dracula's Demise.
Yes,
that's the point of this talk. That is a fun room to play.
Yeah.
Best room I've played.
Honestly, the gameplay in there is incredible. So David's puzzles, top notch. Go check them out. Until next time, I've been Calvin.
I'm Kiara.
And our guest,
David,
will be coming back to talk more, hopefully. Would love to have you back on.
Oh, dude, I got a million things to talk about. So anytime.
We'll get to them. All right.
Sounds